It's true, time ticks on and we can't stop it. But there's one thing that has remained very clear and sharp in my memory. Even though time has passed, I'm going to tell you a story that is more than 50 years old of absolute dog loyalty. And it happened to me. Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to share a personal story about the extreme loyalty of a dog. This dog's name was Dusty. This is a picture of him that I took with a new camera I had received as a present. He was part collie and part chow. He weighed about 30 pounds and he could usually be found on the front porch on a hot summer day in Texas. As an only child, I spent hours playing with Dusty. I taught him how to jump through a hula hoop and how to sit and shake hands. Dusty usually followed me when I left the yard to go into the woods behind our house. He might not be right at my feet, but anytime I looked up, he was within sight. Our neighbor had a dog too. This was an abused dog who they kept on a chain. And it wasn't just any kind of chain, it was a heavy chain, the kind you tow cars with. This dog was mean and dangerous from being abused by his family and mostly ignored. I don't even think the dog had a name, and they knew if that dog got off that chain and out of the yard, he would definitely hurt someone. I grew up in a rural area of Texas, southeast of Dallas. Most of the people in our area had horses and dogs, and in fact there was a whole field of cattle right across the street from my house. One day, it was a hot summer day, I went outside. I was probably between 7 and 10, not exactly sure how old I was. But I went to our backyard and I heard something behind me. And when I turned around, I saw it was that big, mean dog. I had seen that dog nip at his own family. So to see him coming towards me like that was like living in a horror movie. I knew that dog was mean and he meant trouble. I had been told that by the owners of the dog, and to stay away from him. I remember pretty vividly screaming for my mom or dad to come save me. Unfortunately, nobody heard me. Quickly, the dog began to move faster and started running towards me. At that moment, I saw what I would describe as an orange ball just diagonally across my vision, straight toward the angry dog. Then I heard a familiar sound. It was my own dog, Dusty, growling. And that's when I realized it was Dusty who was racing toward that dog to protect me. I have a memory of bared teeth, gums, and the dogs coming together and fur flying everywhere. And all I could do was stand still as the scene played out because I was so very scared, with no one there to help me. Not my mom, not my dad. Then I heard a painful yelp. I knew Dusty had been badly hurt. That got me moving. I ran toward our back door, yelling and screaming for my dad. I saw him coming towards the door, and when he got outside of it, he grabbed something, and I don't know now if it was a hoe or a a broom or a shovel, a stick maybe. I don't know what he had in his hand, but I remember him going toward where the dogs were and yelling something. He was yelling very loud. I don't remember what. But when the other dogs saw him, he started running back to his own house. When my dad was sure that the other dog had left and wasn't coming back, he went towards Dusty, who was now laying on the ground. And all I remember doing at that point in time was screaming, "Is he dead? Is he dead?" My dad knelt down and he looked at Dusty and he kind of parted some of his fur and he told me to get in the truck. And I saw him gently lift Dusty up in his arms, and he put him inside the truck with us, and we headed down to the veterinarian, which was about a mile from our house. There's a little bit of a backstory here. My dad had been sick and there were a lot of bills to pay, and I only knew that as a small child because my mom and dad would discuss it at the dinner table. What was the bill, how they were going to pay it, what they were going to do. It was always a topic of conversation during that time. When we got to the vet and the doctor said that Dusty was going to need surgery, I felt very sad because I knew we didn't have the money for that. But my dad and the veterinarian continued to talk, and then I saw my dad nod and he was handed papers and he signed them. We left Dusty behind and went back home. I remember on the ride home asking my dad how much it was going to cost for Dusty to get well. And my dad answered it really didn't matter because Dusty had saved my life that day. Tears rolled down my face because I realized at that point how close I had come to being mauled or disfigured. I also felt love for my dad for being so kind and realizing even though we didn't have the money, that dog deserved everything that we could offer him that day. Dusty survived. He was put back together and sewn up, and there was a lot of care given to him over the next week or so until he started feeling better. I remember my mom on her hands and knees hand feeding him to get him to eat something. Anything he wanted, table scraps, wet food, whatever he wanted, he was getting it from my mom. And even though Dusty did survive that, it took something away from him. It took his youth away. He seemed older after that day. He was a different dog. He continued to watch over the family, especially me, even though he was my mom's dog, because she is the one who took care of him. That is truly an example of a dog who is extremely loyal. Sacrificial love is what he showed that day, and I appreciated it. The whole family did, and that's the best kind of love. What contributes to that kind of loyalty from a dog? According to leading behaviorists, there are lots of factors that play into it. First, dogs are similar socially to humans. They love to be with humans because we make them happy. Secondly, you have become part of that dog's family, whether you're a good dog owner or not. But as a good dog owner, you've become part of that dog's family through walking him, playing with him, watching TV with him, sharing your food, your snacks, and maybe even your bed, which sharing your bed is a really bonding thing with the dog. They really feel closer to you when you share your bed with them. I found that out with Gracie. That was my previous dog, Dakaya. She didn't really start connecting emotionally with us until we started letting her sleep on our bed at night. And she felt closer to us, more accepted. She had a lot of emotional issues from abuse being a breeder dog in the past. Of course, genetics play a role. Good, ethical breeders breed dogs for their health, their strength, their intelligence, their ability to bond with humans, and of course, their own appearance. And Let's point out, when we go looking to purchase or adopt a dog, we're really looking for those same characteristics. We want our dog to be smart and have all those same exact characteristics. The truth is, if you're a good dog owner and you spend time training your dog, playing with your dog, and showing them kindness, and not screaming at them or punishing them, you're certain to have a dog with all these characteristics. There'll be a few bumps along the way, of course. There are things, each dog has something that bothers you and you want to train out of them. And if you work on that, you'll have a dog that's perfect, that anybody would want to own. A mannerly dog. But the good news is that dog is yours. And along the way, you have caused that dog to bond with you. And the love and the loyalty that you share is a beautiful and satisfying emotion between you and your dog. And a lot of you out there know exactly what I'm talking about. I want to encourage you to find your next dog through adoption or rescue, so that you can save a dog's life. After all, that dog is going to be your very best friend. I hope that you'll continue to watch my channel. Right now on your screen, there are some other videos to watch. One of them is called It's Not All About the Tail, and it's how to bond better with your dog by understanding what's going on in their mind by watching their body language and their tail. I hope you'll see some other things on this screen that you're interested in watching, and be sure to give me a thumbs up and make a comment, and I hope you'll subscribe. Thank you very much. Bye.